Alright, so what's up, guys? I filmed this section after I'd filmed the entire thing. After watching this video you're about to watch, I realized I kind of didn't clarify one thing. When you watch the video, it'll all make sense. But if you're going to do this, when you arrive at the tag office and throw all your information up on the counter, don't say, oh yeah, I'm here to tag a motorcycle. You are there to get a tag for a motor-driven cycle. Not the same thing, two different things. Tag looks identical to a motorcycle tag, but the paperwork is different. The woman at the tag office is probably not going to know what you're talking about. She's going to look at you funny. She's going to say, oh, you meant a motorcycle tag? And you are firm in your no. You're like, no, a motor-driven cycle tag. Click your tab over there, look down, scroll through it. You'll see what I'm talking about. It's not the same thing. If she doesn't know, surely to goodness somebody there will know, but apparently they don't do many of these. So everyone I've ever done, as soon as you get that part out of your mouth, they look at you sideways because they don't know what you're talking about. But somebody there will know. You can figure it out. But yeah, I didn't really clarify that in the video. That's one thing I kind of left out, is you're asking for a motor-driven cycle tag when you're at the tag office, not a motorcycle tag. So enjoy the video. Alright, so what's up, everybody? So I'm gonna start this video off. You saw the title. Let me get this out of the way. I live in Alabama. This is specifically for doing this in Alabama. If you live in Tennessee, Georgia, California, Utah, don't send me a message and be like, man, how do I do this in my state? Because I have no idea. I've only ever been a resident of Alabama, and I've only ever done this in Alabama, and I know it's different for every single state. So now that that's out of the way, let's get started. So you want to take a dirt bike for road use in Alabama. Alright, well, you can and you can't. And here's what I mean by that. First off, if it's above 150 cc's, then you have to have a road legal title. You cannot have a certificate of origin, which is what you get when you buy a dirt bike from a dealership. That won't work. That says off-road at the top, off-road vehicle only at the top or something, and you can't do it. So first off, if it's above 150 cc's, you can't do it, period, through Alabama. You can go through another state that may offer you a on-road title in place of your certificate of origin. A lot of people use South Dakota, and then when your South Dakota tag goes out of date, well, you've got an on-road title for the bike now, so you just go swap it and tell the lady at the tag office that, make up some crap and be like, oh, well, I've got family in South Dakota, and I always left this bike up there, so when I traveled up there, I could have something to ride with my brother or whatever, and he don't ride anymore, so I brought it back home, so that's why it has a title that's out of state, and I've never lived out of state, some crap like that. So that's what you gotta do. Now, if it's under 150 cc's, there's a catch. So, and I'm talking about, this works with scooters, Groms. If you ever see one advertised and maybe someone's got a killer price on it because they don't have a title, well, buy it if you want it. I mean, it doesn't matter that it doesn't have a title, because anything that is under 150 cc's of displacement, or under 5 horsepower, or weighs less than 200 pounds. If your bike or scooter or whatever we're talking about doesn't meet those three requirements, the federal government says that that is not a motorcycle, that is a motor-driven cycle. Two different things. The key difference being, if it doesn't meet them three requirements, it's not legal for use on the interstate. So, and this varies by state, but in Alabama, to tag a motor-driven cycle, all you're required to have is a bill of sale. That's it. Just like if you've got a 50-year-old vehicle, you know, you go to tag it at the tag office and they're tagging it as a vintage vehicle, guess what? You don't have to have anything but a bill of sale. So same kind of scenario. Now, your vehicle does have to be road legal, but there's nowhere in the law that states it has to be factory road legal. So there's nothing saying that you can't convert it. However, I would like to point out that your tag office has the right and the authority to deny you a tag for any reason they see fit. So therefore, if you take it down there to have it inspected, and I'll get to that in a second, and it just looks like a dirt bike that you took down there, if the girl at the tag office grew up with a brother that rode dirt bikes and she's not an idiot, then she may look at that and be like, yeah, I can't give you a tag for that. That's not a road legal vehicle. So even though it doesn't clearly state it, you're kind of jumping through a hoop, but technically you're not. I mean, it's at the discretion of the tag office and the county commissioner. So the best way to get around that is to have a VIN verification form filled out, which is just a form you print off online. Just Google Alabama VIN verification form. It'll pop up, you print it off, and you just have anybody who is technically like a government official. So any state police, any city police, any county sheriff's deputies, anybody else you may know personally that works in a tag office, any government official. It doesn't really say specifically who. So if you know somebody that works, heck, for all I know, somebody at the post office might. I mean, that's federal official kind of, I guess, but I mean, like a state official, anybody. So if you just know anybody that works for the state, or if you run into a police officer that you kind of hit it off with, and you have this form on, you be like, hey man, will you fill this out? And if he says yeah, great. So anyway, without the form, you have to take the vehicle down to have it inspected. Now, Alabama doesn't do vehicle inspections. For all you people watching this that don't live in Alabama, like, yeah, we don't inspect your vehicles. You just take your title and hand them money and they hand you a tag. They don't care if the horn works, they don't care if the lights don't work, they don't care, they take your money. That's it. However, the inspection they're doing in this case is just to make sure the VIN matches what you're telling them, you know. So they're just coming out to look at the VIN number. So again, that's it. So aside from that, it just needs to look street legal, even if it isn't. Like, this bike is not factory street legal, but there's nothing in that state law that says it had to be factory street legal. So I just got to make it look and appear street legal. And the easiest way to make it look and appear street legal is to make it street legal. Like, that's just it. I mean, yeah, you could like duct tape some crap on here and maybe get by and then rip it off when you get home, but then you're gonna get pulled over and yeah. So the bare minimum to be street legal in the state of Alabama is you have to have, like, the thing that's gonna get you is a tail light. You have to have a running tail light, not a brake light, a running tail light. When the engine is running, that light has to glow. Doesn't have to be a brake light, and I'll elaborate more on that in a minute and why, but that's what's going to get you. As long as you have that, then you're probably going to be okay, even if you get pulled over. Like, DOT tires probably aren't going to get you a ticket. Not having a mirror, not having a horn is probably not going to get you a ticket. It's going to be the tail light. If you don't have a visible tail light that functions, you're probably going to get a ticket. So aside from that, getting back to part of the course, to make it street legal, you need a functioning tail light. Again, not a brake light, just when the engine or the switch is on, tail light has to glow. That's it. Now this is the bare minimum. You get that, get a mirror, just one mirror, and it doesn't even have to be a mirror like this. You can go to, if you've got like hand guards or something, or if you've got somewhere you could attach it, you can just go to AutoZone and buy a little $3 stick-on mirror that's supposed to stick on your side view mirrors, those little convex ones, zip tie it on, whatever. You just gotta have a mirror. So you gotta have a tail light, a mirror. You have to have a headlight, but it does not have to work or function as the tail light. Now, yes, every motorcycle you buy that's road legal has a headlight that you cannot turn off from the factory. That is a federal law that states that manufacturers are not allowed to sell motorcycles with a off switch for the headlight. Federal law, not a state law. Look up your state's laws. Alabama doesn't say anything about it, and they also do allow for modulating headlights, which are if you've ever passed a motorcycle during the daytime and you've got a headlight that flashes at like, I think it specifically says like 60 hertz frequency or something. So like a strobing front headlight mod. Alabama allows that. So by default, you should be legally okay to ride a motorcycle during the daytime with no headlight. So therefore, your headlight does not have to work when the bike's running. You just have to have it on the bike, period. In this case, I have a flashlight and a bicycle mount to hold it on there. And I know what you're thinking, like a flashlight's not very bright for a headlight. Well, I'm talking about the bare minimum to make it legal here as well. Because you're right, you would not ride this setup at night. First of all, it would be illegal to ride it at night because I don't have blinkers, which I haven't gotten to yet. But bare minimum to make it street legal for daytime use only is tail light, a mirror, and a headlight, DOT tires. Technically, you're supposed to have a horn, but I never have put a horn on one of these. I've tagged, this will be like the 4th bike I've tagged this way. I've never put a horn on any of them. And that's the last thing cops think to ask of, because it's one of those out of sight, out of mind kind of things. Like they can see the mirror, they can see the tail light, they can see the knobby tires or the street tires. No one really looks for the horn. So, and all the times I've been pulled over, which is a lot, when you tag stuff like Honda 50s, like you get pulled over every cop you pass. Every security guard you pass whips around and pulls you over like he's got some kind of authority. So, and that's one thing they never ask about is the horn, and I don't bother to put one on here, but it can easily be done as well. So, again, this makes you daytime legal, because it is legal in the state of Alabama for you to use hand signals while on a motorcycle, same as you would a car. So, no brake light, just a tail light, no blinkers, and you use hand signals. You do that, and you're technically safe from getting a ticket as far as the bike's concerned. If you've got DOT tires, tail light, mirror, and a headlight that works, whether you have it on or not. And the reason I don't cut it on when I ride is, it's a flashlight. You'd have to put new batteries in it every time you rode, probably. And it's not very bright, so no one's really seeing it in the daylight anyway. And you just gotta have it on there to be legal. And as far as the horn is concerned, if a cop didn't want to be a douchebag about it, all you have to do is buy a bicycle horn. The law for the horn is pretty lenient. It's like 200, it must be audible at 200 feet in normal daily conditions. So not next to a construction zone where a lot of noise is being made. The cops gotta be able to hear it from 200 feet. Just like out on a county road or a city street that's not abnormally loud for any reason, like construction or something, it's got to be audible from 200 feet. You can hear a lot of things from 200 feet away that aren't very loud. So a bicycle horn is legal. What else? The headlight, the reason you're able to get away with a flashlight is because it has to be visible from, I haven't looked this stuff up in a long time, but I want to say it's like 500 feet, maybe 550 feet or 350 feet or something. It's round about a football field plus, but it's not crazy long, like 1,000 feet or something. but you can see a candle from a mile away. So pretty much any light you fasten on the front of it is legal, as long as it is visible to other people from that distance away. Let's call it 550 feet. Well, again, you can see a candle from 1,000 feet away, easy. So, or beyond. So any light you pretty much come up with that glows and it faces forward and it's white is going to be legal. And then the only law regarding blinkers is that they be amber. So if you want to make it legal, nighttime legal, so you're going to do a full legit headlight, you're going to do a full legit tail light and brake light, and you're going to do blinkers. Just any old deal sport kit will work that's got amber lenses for the blinkers. And this is really about it. I've always, like, you're tagging something this small. Like in the past, I tagged a Honda 50. The very first video on my YouTube page, I think, is a video about that bike, real crappily done, much like this one. And but you can see that bike. So I've tagged the Honda Z50, I've tagged the CRF 70, I've tagged the CRF 110, and now I'm about to tag this KLX 140L. So the reason I do daytime only tags on these is because I'm not riding this at night anyway, because this 140 being the largest one out of the four still only does like 50 mile an hour comfortably. So I'm not looking to get run over, so I'm not going to be riding it at night. It's just to goof around here close to the house, ride back roads, run to the gas station to get something, run to the store to get something small. It's just that kind of play bike, fun bike, similar to a Grom. To be honest, if I owned a Grom or a Z125, I probably wouldn't ride that thing at night, given that I don't live in like the city where traffic's slower anyway. Yeah, the speed limit on all the county roads around here is 40 or 45, but people ain't doing 40 or 45, they're running 60. And I wouldn't want to get run over. So I wouldn't, if I had one of them, I probably wouldn't be caught out on it at dark either. Or if I had a Honda Ruckus scooter that only did 38 miles an hour, like I wouldn't be riding that at nighttime anyway. So I don't bother tagging them that way. But if you wanted to, there's nothing stopping you. Again, if you've got a dirt bike bigger than 150 cc's, you got to go through another state. And there's no stipulation beyond that displacement. So you could have 125 or a 150 two-stroke that makes gobs of power and can run 80 miles an hour. Doesn't matter. As long as it doesn't meet all three of those requirements, technically it's not legal for interstate use, which means in the state of Alabama that it would be tagged as a motor-driven cycle. Some states like Georgia, I think 50 cc's and less doesn't require a tag or insurance or anything at all. And then if it's above 50 and below 150, then it's a motor-driven cycle. Alabama's not like that. If it's got an engine and it's going on the road, it's got to be tagged, period. So you just got to figure out how to do it. And in this case, this is the only way to do it. Feel like I'm leaving something out. Insurance. You do have to have insurance as well. When you go to the tag office, you're going to need a VIN verification sheet, or if you don't have that, you have to bring the bike with you. If you go that route and you bring the bike with you, it better look street legal, because like I said, they can take one look at it and decide for any reason they deem necessary not to give you a tag. So if you just roll up with any old dirt bike that looks just like any old dirt bike and it's not street legal, or at least doesn't look street legal, then they don't have to give you a tag for it. And there's a good chance they probably won't give you a tag for it. If something looks off, then they're not required to do anything, so they'll probably blow you off, and not in a good way. So you've got to have insurance, road legal insurance. You have to have, which in Alabama is just liability, nothing more required. So you got to have liability insurance, you got to have a VIN verification form, and you have to have a current bill of sale from when you purchased the vehicle. You got those three things, and obviously a driver's license. You got those four things: driver's license, VIN verification form for your bike that is street legal, or at least looks street legal. You have your bill of sale, and you have insurance. Then you can tag a dirt bike in Alabama as long as it's under 150 cc's, less than 200 pounds or has less than 5 horsepower. Dirt bike, scooter, moped, any of that, bill of sale only, no on-road title required. I think that's it. Again, if you're out of state, you watch this video, more power to you, but don't send me a message and ask me to help you look up your state laws. The first time I tagged one of these and I figured all this stuff out, I had to call Montgomery, which is the capital, obviously, and I talked to like 3 different people down there trying to figure out how to tag. At the time, it was like a WR 450 I was trying to tag. Spent like 6 months trying to figure out how to tag that. Stumbled across all this stuff, but none of it applied to me because my bike was bigger than 150 cc's. And then sold that bike because I found out it could not legally be done without going out of state, outside the state of Alabama to do it. And I think at the time, I didn't even know of a state that would. That was kind of before the South Dakota tag thing caught on. So, and I was just like 16 years old, 17 years old at the time. So I just didn't know about that. So I just sold that bike and scrapped it and took a loss on all the parts I'd put on it and just got it out of my hair. But I stumbled across this stuff. I'm not going to spend 6 months looking through your state's requirements. You need to call your tag office. You need to call somebody at the Capitol and talk to somebody at the DOT or whatever and figure it out. Most states that do inspections, it's not a problem. Y'all are watching this and you're like, yeah, there's nothing new here. You just go down there and put all your crap on it. They look at it and make sure it works. In which case, you probably have to have everything working, brake light, blinkers, all that. And they stamp off on it and you get your tag and it's no big deal because y'all inspect vehicles. Alabama does not inspect vehicles, so there's nowhere to take it. It actually says in the law that if the vehicle can pass an inspection, then you can tag literally just about anything. But because Alabama does not do inspections, there's no inspection office to take it to. And you can't take it to an inspection office outside the state. I had called and asked about that, and they're like, we won't honor somebody else's inspection. So you may stumble across something that kind of reads in a way to where you think you can tag a full-size dirt bike. You just got to have it inspected, but good luck getting it inspected because there's no inspection office. There's nobody that offers that or does that. It's upheld by the state anyway. No like state certified inspection office because the state doesn't require it. So it's just like a catch-22. There's no real way around that. So outside of tagging your vehicle through another state, or your dirt bike in this case, through another state, and eventually swapping that title for an Alabama title and an Alabama tag when it comes due from whatever state you tagged it through, outside of all of that stuff, this is the only way to do it. So good news if you got a scooter, a moped, a dirt bike, or whatever, a trike. That's the only other thing you can't do it with a 4-wheeler. You could do it with a 3-wheeler. If you had like an old ATC 70 3-wheeler, guess what? You could tag that thing. If 3 wheels or less, it's considered a motorcycle. And motorcycles, or in this case, motor-driven cycle, no title required. So you could tag a 3-wheeler this way. I've never done it. I've got a buddy that's got one. I've been trying to get him to do it, but he cares nothing about doing it, so he's never done it. I just think it'd be neat. And be prepared to, there's a gnat that's been all around here this whole time. Anyway, be prepared to be pulled over by the cops. Like every cop you see, every rent-a-cop you see. With a bike, like if you did full on, like everything, headlight, taillight, blinkers, all the jazz, you probably wouldn't get pulled over. But like Honda 50 and the Honda CRF 110, it was like nothing but getting pulled over. Every cop you saw, you was gonna get stopped. Usually as soon as they saw the tag though, like you met them, they whipped around, hit their lights, you pulled over, and they just pull up beside you and be like, oh, I see your tag now. I just thought you was a kid ripping around on a dirt bike. Have a good one. Like, I don't think I ever once had to actually pull out my license, my insurance, my tag receipt, none of that, registration. But don't be surprised if you do, or at the very least, don't be surprised if you get pulled over. So I think that's it. I've rambled on enough in this video, kind of beat this horse to death. But if you live in the state of Alabama and you have any questions, then shoot me a comment down below. If you're out of state and you've got questions about it, ask away, but if it pertains to your state, I'm probably not going to be able to help you much. But anyway, yeah, until the next time, be safe. Thumbs up, like, share, subscribe, all that jazz. I would have loved to have done this video outside, but we're having like some roller coaster weather right now, up and down, hot and cold, rain, sunshine, back and forth. So it's just easier to do it in the garage, and I'm still having to wear a jacket and stuff. It's kind of chilly today. But hope you enjoyed it. I hope this helps somebody. Like I said, it took me months to figure this information out, so I'm just trying to pass that along. And I'm not the only one that's done it. I've told other people about this before, and they've done it. Those bikes that I mentioned having tagged before, when I sold those bikes, they still had all the street legal gear on them. And to my knowledge, every single one of those persons went back and tagged it in their name as well. So it's it can kind of be a good way to sell some stuff too. Like if you're trying to sell your dirt bike and you just ain't having that much interest in it, you got like $50 you want to throw at it, throw a tail light and a mirror and headlight and some stuff on it, and maybe some, shell out a few more bucks for DOT tires, advertise it as a street legal bike, and it is. And if the people at the tag office ask you about that, is this something you tried to convert or something, just play dumb, be like, no, I bought it this way. If you buy it new, I highly suggest not taking that bill of sale with you. Sell it to a buddy. You go out and spend $3,500 on this bike new. Don't take that bill of sale down there and try to do this, because they're gonna be like, why don't you just have the title? Like, you bought it new, you should have the title. You're saying it's a road legal bike. Raises too many questions. Sell it to your buddy for $1. Have him sell it back to you for market value, $2,500, because it's now a used dirt bike, something like that. And then take it down there and get it tagged. And let that be the end of it. And if they ask you, play dumb. Be like, yeah, no, it's street legal. I bought it that way. They can't prove you didn't. I mean, they maybe kind of could. There might be some legal record of you buying that vehicle new, but they're not going to have that, at least not on hand. So anyway, just play dumb, and the worst that's going to happen is they're going to say no, and you wasted $13 on a tail light, $8.99 on a mirror. Surely to God, you got a flashlight somewhere, and the biggest expense would be if you've got DOT tires on it. Wait until you get the tag, put DOT tires on it, and save yourself that trouble, and then the headache of your local tag office denying you or something. If you're going to go the VIN verification route, they don't have to see the bike. Don't order tires until you've got the tag in your hand or something, But anyway, I've rambled twice as long as I wanted to. So, until next time, deuces. That was retarded. Anybody says deuces anymore?